Welcome back to the Story Place. I'm Anne-Marie Battistone, and this is Norfolk Public Access. And my first story is called The Rain Player, about a boy in the Central America during the time of the Maya, which was many, many centuries ago. And this has a story about a ball game that was a traditional ball game that was played, and it has to do with the gods that the Mayans believed in. And you're also going to see a picture of the Mayan calendar, which is mentioned in the story. It's pretty interesting to look at. Okay. This is called The Rain Player. The city lay in darkness, yet the Akin Mai had been awake for hours. Trembling, the old priest consulted his charts and calendars once again. Quintuniabil, they declared, a year of terrible drought. The sky reddened and the blazing face of Lord Sun appeared. Without rain, this dreadful heat would soon devour the corn, and without corn, the people would perish. The Akin Mai blew a long, clear note on his conch shell. The people had to know their fate. Perhaps Chak, the god of rain, would also hear and have mercy. On the ball court, Pick played Pocatawk with his friends. Like his father, who competed before the supreme ruler in full costume, Pick had great skill. He blocked a pass with his shoulder and sent the ball flying through the stone ring above his head. "Game," he cried. "Shh," warned the others. "Listen." The call of the Akin Mai floated in the dusty air. The boys ran to hear what fate the new year would bring. Pick listened impatiently to the prophecy. "Do the gods have nothing better to do than torment us?" he commented to his companions. "Things would be different if I were the Akin Mai. I would just tell Chak to get to work." The boys' laughter was cut short by a chorus of croaking. The little frogs of the forest, the Wo, filled the trees about them. Knowing Wo to be heralds of Chak, the boys fled. But before Pick could take a step, he was whisked into the swirling clouds above. The voice of Chak rumbled like thunder. "Is it right for such a small creature to bear such a large tongue?" Pick bowed before the rain god. "Oh, mighty Chak, I misspoke," he said politely. "I beg your forgiveness." "Forgiveness must be earned," Chak replied. Pick thought quickly. "May I earn it playing Pocatawk? Well, that is what I do best." "You wish to challenge me?" boomed Chak. Pick nodded nervously. "Very well. 2 days hence, we shall play. Bring a team if you can find one. 2 games of 3 shall decide your fate." "What if I win?" Pick asked. "You will earn my forgiveness and reign for your people," Chak replied. "And if I lose?" Chak laughed and the air smelled like lightning. "You will become a frog and croak my name forever." "But I don't want to be a frog," wailed Pick. "You should have thought of that before insulting Chak," said his father sternly. "Challenging a god to Pocatawk. No wonder your friends refused to join your team." "Well, won't you?" Pick asked hopefully. "No, I will not," his father replied. "Much more than skill is required." He emptied the contents of a leather pouch onto a table. "At your hetzmek, these things were placed in your baby hands. A planting stick to make the hole for the corn seed and a ball to make me a great player," Pick interrupted. "It has done so. But there is more. Here is a jaguar tooth that you might share jaguar's fierce strength. And here is a quetzal feather that you might receive quetzal's silent speed. And, most precious of all, the water of the sacred cenote, that you might make its deep wisdom your own. Seek their counsel. Perhaps they will know how to help you." And I'll explain something about those words at the end of the story. Rising early, Pick came upon Jaguar by first light. "Otzilin," he said respectively, "I have need." Indeed, replied Jaguar, inspecting his claws. All the forest knows of your plight. Fate is against you, but a victory over Chak would give us rain, and that is something we sorely need. I will help you if I can. But how? Doesn't your father wear a jaguar cloak when he plays before royalty? Tomorrow, I will be your cloak. More than that, I do not know. At noon, Pick searched the trees for signs of Quetzal. Otzilen, he cried, I have need. Quetzal lit upon a branch and regarded him kindly. I have heard of your challenge to Chak, she said. Fate is harder than stone, yet it must be broken for the rains to come. I will help you if I can. How? Asked Pick. Doesn't your father wear a fancy headdress when he plays before royalty? My beautiful feathers will be your crown. More than that, I do not know. As the sun set, Pick lowered himself into the darkness of the sacred cenote. Far below, dark water swirled through the great caves it had carved below the earth. Otzilen, Pick called, and his plea echoed in the vastness. With the faintest breath of air, the words of the cenote entered his ear. I know your step, the cenote sighed, for I flow beneath the ball court. Though fate says otherwise, Chak's reigns must continue, for they are my constancy and strength. Go now. Tomorrow I will be with you. But how? Asked Pick. Tomorrow, came the echo, and all was still. The next day, all marveled as Pick strode toward the ball court. A magnificent jaguar cloak hung from his shoulders, and brilliant Quetzal feathers streamed from his headdress. Then the people grew silent as the woe announced the arrival of Chak in the sky above. The rain god nodded his readiness to the Akin Mai. With shaking hands, the priest held the ball aloft. Begin, he cried, and cast it into the court. A great gust of wind stole the ball from Pick, and a twisting column of cloud blasted it down the court. Chak had sent a whirlwind to play for him. Instantly, Jaguar leaped from Pick's shoulders. Sealing the ball in his powerful jaws, he sped to the other side and soared through the ring. One, shouted Pick. Again, the old priest tossed the ball into play. At that moment, Chak loosed a score of lightning bolts. They fell with blinding fury, tearing the earth and spinning the ball toward the goal. Quetzal flew from Pick's head and snatched the ball with her talons. Yet the lightning was stronger than she. Still clutching the ball, Quetzal was driven through the ring. One for me, thundered Chak. He came down from the clouds, and his colossal form dwarfed the tallest buildings. Now I will break this tie. The ball fell to the court again. Pick scrambled backward as Chak lifted his huge foot. Then, with a terrific crack, the ground gave way and Chak plunged into the cenote below. Racing skillfully over the broken ground, Pick sent the final goal flying through the center of the ring. Mine, he whooped. Chak lifted himself out of the hole in silence. Without a word, he took Pick in his great hand and soared into the heavens. You have won, little man, Chak muttered, and I cannot say that I am pleased, but we had an agreement. He placed Pick by the enormous gourd that hung from his belt. Gently now, Chak warned. Don't flood the world. Using both hands, Pick tilted the gourd. A great rain gushed from it and fell to the thirsty earth below. Chak kept his word to Pick that season and for many seasons thereafter. In time, the fine young ball player with the strength of a jaguar and the speed of a quetzal gained great renown. He became known as Rain Player, for distant thunder greeted his entrance on the court, and gentle showers followed each victory. So, I'm going to explain a few words to you. His father mentioned the Hetzmek, and it's a ceremony performed to welcome a newborn child into the family. And there are 9 items which will be given to the baby. A loom and grinding stone for the girl, and a planting stick and coin for the boy. This tribe is the Mayans who lived in Central America. And there are many people to this day who speak the Mayan language and who look like Mayans. They were conquered, and this is why they're Spanish spoken in Central America today. Now, these 2 animals, the jaguar and the quetzal, the jaguar is very close to complete extinction because selfish people wanted to have their rugs in their house or wanted coats made out of jaguar. Not these people then, because that was their culture. And of course, there were jaguars all over the place back hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Thousands of years ago is what I should say. And the quetzal bird is almost also extinct because people killed it for its feathers to put in hats. So, you know, these are the things that selfish people do to animals. And then we have only, very rare that you see a jaguar or a quetzal bird. And I think that's all I wanted to tell you about. So I hope you like that story. And there's some more information that you might find about the Mayan ball game if you wanted to Google that. It's something I might not want to, I don't want to tell you now, but you can read about it yourself. All righty, now, this is a Child's Garden of Verses. It's written by Robert Louis Stevenson. And Robert Louis Stevenson, he wrote these poems for young children, but he also wrote the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which was a horror story. And he wrote the Treasure Island. And he also wrote another horror story called The Body Snatchers. So he has a huge range in his repertoire of stories. My bed is a boat. My bed is like a little boat. Nurse helps me when I embark. She girds me in my sailor's coat and starts me in the dark. At night, I go on board and say good night to all my friends on shore. I shut my eyes and sail away and see and hear no more. And sometimes things to bed I take, as prudent sailors have to do. Perhaps a slice of wedding cake, perhaps a toy or two. All night across the dark we steer, but then the day returns at last. And safe in my room, beside the pier, I find my vessel fast. I don't know if you remember the Owl and the Pussycat that I read at one of the stories when they talked about what they brought with them on the boat. The unseen playmate. When children are playing alone on the green, in comes the playmate that never was seen. When children are happy and lonely and good, the friend of the children comes out of the wood. Nobody heard him and nobody saw. His is a picture you never could draw, but he's sure to be present abroad or at home when children are happy and playing alone. He lies in the laurels, he runs on the grass, he sings when you tinkle the musical glass. Whene'er you are happy and cannot tell why, the friend of the children is sure to be by. He loves to be little, he hates to be big. 'Tis he that inhabits the caves that you dig. 'Tis he when you play with your soldiers of tin that sides with the Frenchman and never can win. 'Tis he when at night you go off to your bed, bids you to go to sleep and not trouble your head. For wherever they're lying in cupboard or shelf, 'tis he will take care of your playthings himself. And this picture you're going to see is of the cherry blossoms. And I don't know if you know this, but I guess it was after World War II, the Japanese, to express remorse, sent these beautiful cherry trees that are planted in Washington, D.C., and they're all around the reflecting pool and the Jefferson Memorial. And you'll see here, this is a little poem about that. Of speckled eggs the birdie sings and nests among the trees. The sailor sings of ropes and things in ships upon the seas. The children sing in far Japan. The children sing in Spain. The organ with the organ man is singing in the rain. This next one is called Wintertime. Late lies the wintry sun abed, a frosty, fiery, sleepy head. Blinks but an hour or two, and then a blood-red orange sets again. Before the stars have left the skies, at morning in the dark I rise, and shivering in my nakedness by the cold candle bathe and dress. Close by the jolly fire I sit to warm my frozen bones a bit, or with a reindeer sled explore the colder countries round the door. When to go out, my nurse doth wrap me in my comforter and cap. The cold wind burns my face and blows its frosty pepper up my nose. Black are my steps on silver sod, thick blows my frosty breath abroad, and tree and house and hill and cake are frosted like a wedding cake. You know, you may notice this reference to nurses. That doesn't mean that these children are sick. These were written, Robert Louis Stevenson lived in the mid-19th century. He only lived until he was 44. And in those days, it was very easy and affordable for families to have servants. And so the children would have what they called a nurse. Nowadays, they call them nannies. But in those days, it didn't mean that you were very rich. A lot of these poems talk about children's imagination, and I think that was something that I read about also in a previous show. The Little Land. When at home alone I sit, and I am very tired of it. I have just to shut my eyes, to go sailing through the skies, to go sailing far away to the pleasant land of play, to the fairyland afar, where the little people are, where the clover tops are trees, and the rain pools are the seas, and the leaves like little ships sail about on tiny trips, and above the daisy tree through the grasses, high o'erhead the bumblebee hums and passes. In that forest to and fro I can wander, I can go, see the spider and the fly, and the ants go marching by, carrying parcels with their feet down the green and grassy street. I can in the sorrel sit where the ladybird alit. I can climb the jointed grass, and on high see the greater swallows pass. In the sky, and in the round sunding rolling by, heeding no such things as I. The rain is raining all around, it falls on field and tree. It rains on the umbrellas here and on the ships at sea. And I don't know if you can see here, children, but you might. There's some other child. I had planned to erase this, but some other child, a long time ago perhaps, had scribbled on this page, and the scribbling is still there. My kingdom. Down by the shining water well, I found a very little dell. No higher than my head, the heather and the gorse about in summer bloom were coming out, some yellow and some red. I called the little pool a sea. The little hills were big to me, for I am very small. I made a boat, I made a town, I searched the caverns up and down, and named them one and all. And all about was mine, I said, the little sparrows overhead, the little minnows too. This was the world, and I was king. For me the bees came by to sing, and for me the swallows flew. I played there were no deeper seas, nor any wider plains than these, nor other kings than me. At last I heard my mother call out from the house at evenfall to call me home to tea. And I must rise and leave my dell, and leave my dimpled water well, and leave my heather blooms. Alas, and as my home I neared, how very big my nurse appeared, how great and cool the rooms. The moon has a face like the clock in the hall. She shines on thieves on the garden wall, on streets and fields and harbor quays, and birdies asleep in the forks of the trees. The squalling cat and the squeaking mouse, the howling door by the door of the house, the bat that lies in bed at noon, all love to be put out by the light of the moon. But all of the things that belong to the day cuddle to sleep to be out of her way, and flowers and children close their eyes till up in the morning the sun shall rise. The flowers, all the names I know from nurse, gardener's garters, shepherd's purse, bachelor's buttons, lady's smock, and the lady hollyhock. Fairy places, fairy things, fairy woods with the wild bee wings, tiny trees for tiny dames. These must all be fairy names. Tiny woods below whose boughs shady fairies weave a house. Tiny treetops, rose or thyme, where the braver fairies climb. Fair are grown-up people's trees, but the fairest woods are these, where, if I were not so tall, I should live for good and all. All right, and I have one more for you. This is the very famous book by Dr. Seuss, Green Eggs and Ham. You probably know it, but at least now we'll get to see all the pictures again, or for the first time. I am Sam. I am Sam. Sam I am. That Sam I am, that Sam I am, I do not like that Sam I am. Well, do you like green eggs and ham? I do not like them, Sam I am. I do not like green eggs and ham. Would you like them here or there? I would not like them here or there. I would not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham, so I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you like them in a house? Or would you like them with a mouse? I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Well, would you eat them in a box? Would you eat them with a fox? Not in a box, not with a fox, not in a house, not with a mouse. I would not eat them here or there. I would not eat them anywhere. I would not eat green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Would you? Could you in a car? Eat them? Eat them. Here they are. I would not, could not in a car. Well, you may like them. You will see, you may like them in a tree. I would not, could not in a tree, not in a car. You let me be. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with a fox. I do not like them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. A train, a train, a train, a train. Could you, would you on a train? Not on a train, not in a tree, not in a car. Sam, will you let me be? I would not, could not in a box. I could not, would not if a fox. I will not eat them with a mouse. I will not eat them in a house. I will not eat them here or there. I will not eat them anywhere. I do not eat green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Say, in the dark, here in the dark, would you, could you in the dark? I would not, could not in the dark. Would you, could you in the rain? I would not, could not in the rain. Not in the dark, not on a train, not in a car, not in a tree. I do not like them, Sam, you see. Not in a house, not in a box, not with a mouse, not with a fox. I will not eat them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. You do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam I am. Could you, would you with a goat? I would not, could not with a goat. Would you, could you on a boat? I could not, would not on a boat. Will not with a goat. I will not eat them in the rain. I will not eat them on a train, not in the dark, not in a tree, not in a car. You let me be. I do not like them in a box. I do not like them with a fox. I will not eat them in a house. I do not like them with a mouse. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham. I do not like them, Sam, I am. You do not like them, so you say. Try them, try them. And you may try them and you may say, I say, Sam, if you will let me be, I will try them, you will see. So there he is, he's trying them. Say, I like green eggs and ham. I do. I like them, Sam, I am. And I would eat them in a boat. I would eat them with a goat. And I will eat them in the rain and in the dark and on a train and in a car and in a tree. They're so good, you see. So I will eat them in a box, and I will eat them with a fox, and I will eat them in a house, and I will eat them with a mouse, and I will eat them here and there. I say I will eat them anywhere. I do so like green eggs and ham. Thank you. Thank you, Sam, I am. So I guess that story proves that you can't always make up your mind before you've tried something. Well, thank you very much, children, for being at the Story Place today with me. I'm Anne-Marie Battistone. I hope you liked the stories. I hope they weren't too babyish for some of you, but I think you'll love the drawings anyway. Bye-bye. Thank you.